Now that you set up the dimension layer in your drawing, the next step is that creating a dimension style. So there is two ways to accessing the dimension style. The first way to access to the dimension style is that I'm on the home tab, and under the annotation I can open up the annotation and I click on this dimension style down here. So this is one way of accessing to annotation style. The other way that I can access to annotation style or to dimension style, sorry, is to go to the annotation tab, and in the dimensions section you click on this little arrow here, and that's because bring up this menu dimension style manager. So the first thing that we want to do is that we want to create our own dimension style. As I mentioned before, whenever you work in any offices, they usually have all these things set up, so you don't need to do that, but you have to learn how to work with these things. When for your own project, you might need to create some sort of a dimension style setting. But the good thing is that when you set this up, you can use it in other projects as well. So first thing first, we're gonna click on the annotation and we're gonna create a new dimension style. Basically, we're gonna name this one to floor plan, and see that says started with the annotative, so you can change that one to start, or maybe you have other dimension style that already set up, so you can start it wherever you finish up last time. So it's going to be annotative, and sometimes you want to use it for all dimension that you're going to use in the drawings, or you can choose which specific dimension you want to use this dimension style that you create. So I'm going to leave this as all dimension, but if you have the project that you specifically want to do like some sort of a stylus for like a, let's say, circle or arc, you can change that one as well. So we're going to go to the continue, and this menu show up, which is the comprehensive sets of different settings for my dimension basically style. So started from lines, symbols, and we go all the way to the tolerance. So first thing that you have to make sure is that when you are drawing the dimension color is supposed to be following the specification of your layer. So basically, instead of by color, we're going to make sure that it's all by layer. So the color, the line type, line weight, all by layer. Same thing for the extension line. I'm going to change that one by layer, layer, and by layer. All right. So that's the first thing to do. So basically, the first one is the by dimension layer lines. So these lines here. Second one, the extension, that's supposed to be extended from the dimension, and we change the color. So instead of the first thing that we're going to change is that we're going to change the baseline spacing. The baseline spacing is basically the space between the points that you specify as a dimension and where your dimension style is, dimension line style. It says 3/8, and we're going to change that one 1/16. And this is basically the same thing, which depending on your project, depending on what you want to get out of it in terms of the visual quality, that's going to be a different thing. And then we're going to change the extend beyond the dimension line. So see that little line that goes extended beyond the beyond this dimension line, that's what we're going to change. So we're going to change that one to 1/6, and the offset from the origin, which is basically the offset from the baseline that we have right now. It's not set up, but we're going to put it as 1/16. We're going to change that one later. So let's go to the second piece. The second piece is basically the symbols and arrows that you see in these drawings. Basically, you have different sets that you can use for this arrowhead. And usually, since we are working, like for example, in the floor plan, we're going to use the architectural take. For mechanical system or for like a mechanical drawings, you might use a different system, or sometimes for civil, you use a different like a dimension arrowheads. So we're going to change this one to architectural take, and see that as I change that one, these two change to the architectural take. I'm going to leave this leader for closed field. And the arrow size, this one's 3/16, is a little big, so I'm going to change that one to 1/6. And right after I change it, see that it automatically becomes smaller than what it was before. The center mark is the placement that shows where the circle located. If I click on none, there's going to be none of that in my drawings. We usually put it as a mark so we can see that. The other things here, we don't work with them right now, so we're gonna leave it as it is. Gonna go to the next tab, and this basically relative to our text. First thing that we're gonna change is that we're gonna change the text style. The text style is supposed to be the one of those text style that we already created. Basically, we had the text and title. So I'm gonna click on the text. If you hadn't done it before for the previous assignment, what you have to do is that you have to click here. That's basically bring back the text style, and in the text style we create one text annotative text style, and we set it as a 1/8, and the rest of the things was as default. For the color of the text, we're gonna use by layer, so it's gonna be turned into a white to the color of my layer. And I don't use any fill color, but sometimes you want to highlight something. So for example, if I click on the yellow, you see that that's going to be becoming yellow. Sometimes I want to highlight it something for my contractor or for someone that I want to send my drawings, so I can use that filled color. Text height, I can change it because basically that's going to be annotative, and the rest of the things here is going to be same. Here, in terms of the text placement, for the vertical one, we're going to use center. For the horizontal one, basically we're going to do center, but if I change that one, see that it's changed the placement of the text in the different places. So I'm going to change that one to center. The view direction is going to be left or right. If I want to back, it's going to be right to left. That's going to be changing that as well. In terms of the alignment, usually horizontal is good, but I prefer personally visually goes with the align with the dimension style. So that's basically put this in a different direction. And then this one offset the dimension from the timeline. Right now it's in the center, but if I that basically means if there is enough space, usually they put the dimension above it. I'm gonna change that one in the fit, and that's give me a little space from the line, from this line to the text. So that's one I want to change that one to 1/16. So I'm gonna change that one to 1/16. I'm gonna go to the fit, and let's go to the primary units and back to this one. So we're going to go to the primary unit. In the primary unit, since our drawings is an architectural one, we're going to change that one to architectural, and we're going to change the precision to 1/16. And round off is basically if I want to round the numbers that I see in my drawings. So basically it's 0. If I increase that number, you see that this number is going through 1/4, and the round off is a 1/8. So we're going to leave it as 0, but sometimes you want to change that one. The measurement scale, sometimes you measure and draw your drawing in a different scale. So if I change that number, for example, to 10, whatever dimension that AutoCAD sees in my drawings will be multiplied by 10 or multiplied by numbers that I want. So I'm going to leave that at 1. We don't work with these two for now, so we're going to leave it as it is. This one is for angular dimension. Basically this dimension here, I can, just like the other angular dimension, we're going to keep it as a decimal degree. You can have the precision, or you can leave it as 0. So if I go back to the fit, usually you want to go either text or arrow. This is the fit option. So if the dimension doesn't fit, where you want to place this text. And for that one, we usually go with the best solution. I usually let AutoCAD decide for me where to place it, and then after that I edit that one. The text placement, you can go with the beside, or you can go over the dimension line with the leader, or you can go over the dimension line without the leader. This one is usually better, basically because this give you, for example, write the text right here and then add a leader to show that this dimension, this text is belonging to this dimension here. For the alternative units, basically sometimes you are working with the international offices, and then you're trying to have both architectural and, for example, let's say metric system. So you can add the display alternatives. So as I click on that, basically what it happens is that it adds the decimal right beside the architectural. You can see it's very small, but basically that's what it does. So for now, we're going to leave it as off, but sometimes you want to add both of them. That's the way to do it. And for the tolerance, basically the tolerance define that how much like a different methods of the tolerance. You can go with the symmetrical, so for example plus and minus, or you can go with the deviation, so it's saying plus and minus, or for you can go with the symmetrical for like saying that how much you can go off for each dimension that you're putting here. So that's basically most of the things that we're gonna work. For this one, we're gonna put the tolerance as none. And when we are done almost with all the tabs that we set, I'm gonna press OK, and we are creating our dimension style first floor here, and we're gonna close this.